One. Welcome everyone to a special event hosted by You Define Wellness. I'm Denise O'Malley, the founder of our company, and it is my pleasure to bring to you this special event. So let me explain myself real quick. We believe in the success of independent health and wellness professionals. And so from time to time, we have events that are scheduled throughout the month, but from time to time, we also bring in someone with a special topic that we feel that is important to you in helping you in your business. And Katie Corbett and I have been talking now for, oh gosh, months off and on. She is a wordsmith extraordinaire. She has a skill set that I have not seen with other people. And so we started talking about bringing one of her presentations to all of you. And in this one, it's how to create meaningful testimonials, how to ask for them. And so let me give you a little bit about her bio so we have this for the record. So Katie Corbett helps busy business owners and marketing professionals tell the success stories of their happy customers. She does this through writing customer case studies and gathering impactful testimonials. Katie has written for technology companies, web and graphic designers, and advisors in the healthcare industry, and coaches of all types. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Print Journalism from the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. When she isn't glued to her laptop wordsmithing, she can be found baking, reading young adult fantasy novels, and road tripping with her husband. Katie lives near the Wisconsin Dells and feels cheese should be its own food group. And I am in complete agreement with you on that one, Katie. So with that being said, Katie, I am turning it over to you.
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I have gotten services from independent healthcare professionals, chiropractors, massage therapists, people like you. And I definitely believe in the value that you provide, and I want to help. I want to show you how you can spotlight yourself and share your expertise with the world, because you guys do really great things. Before we get started, I'm going to put a link to a Google form in the chat. And if you, I invite you to get in touch with me if anything you hear today resonates with you, or if you have questions about wanting to learn more. I love having conversations with people, and it's just a get to know you conversation, so you can get to know me and I can get to know you, and we can just learn more about each other and support each other in business. So that is in the chat.
Let me interrupt real quick, Katie, and just say for those who are watching this as a recording, wherever you found this recording, go down to the comments section or the information about this session, and you will find the link as well.
That's a great point. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So first, if you have ever thought about gathering a testimonial or asking somebody for a testimonial and felt nervous, you can put a yes in the chat if you're watching this live, or just nod to yourself if you're watching the recording. Yeah, it can be really nerve-wracking to kind of think like, oh, I want to ask someone for something, even though we're done working together, or maybe that was a great experience, but how do I do that? How do I make that ask? So first, I'm going to talk a little bit about why gathering these testimonials is so important. So more than 90% of people will read a testimonial or a review before buying a product or purchasing a service. And 88% of people say that they trust testimonials as much as they trust recommendations from friends or family. So as you can see, that's a really compelling reason to ask for testimonials and have those stories to share with other people, because people read them and people trust them, and people want to know what it's like to work with you from the perspective of people who have worked with you. And that is one of the things that an impactful testimonial could contain. One of the following. It could be, it could talk about the problem or challenge that you helped someone solve. It could be why they chose you in the first place, or what it's like to work with you. And typically a testimonial is between 1 to 4 sentences, 1 to 3 sentences. So you'll probably only be able to get 1, maybe 2 of those things in an impactful testimonial before it just becomes a long-winded thing. And it's kind of important to keep testimonials shorter, because people, when they're just browsing online, when they're looking at something for the first time, they kind of want to read something really quick little sound bite. All right, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about when to ask for a testimonial. There are 2 points in the journey with your client where you can ask for a testimonial. One of them is at the end, after you're done working together, either at the end of an appointment or at the end of a series of appointments, where you could make this part of your process and just make it part of your process that you always ask for testimonials at the end. Another great place to do that is after someone has given you a compliment. So, for example, it was a week before my wedding and my back was killing me, and I went to my chiropractor and he did an adjustment and I felt really great. And I told him that. I said, gee, I feel really great. Thank you so much. And unfortunately, he didn't take the opportunity to say, well, thanks, Katie, would you mind putting that in a testimonial? And maybe he had a bunch of testimonials already, who knows? But that's an opportunity that you guys can take, so that when your clients tell you that you've done something amazing for them, you can ask them if that can be captured. Because chances are, when you talk with other people in conversation, or when you're redoing your website, or when you are thinking about what to post on Facebook for the 3rd time this week, you'll want to have something to put there. And customer stories are a great thing to put there. So let's see. So just saying a nice thank you so much, and asking them, would you mind writing that in a testimonial? Or if you're on a video call, would you mind, I'm going to record for just a couple seconds, would you mind saying that again? And that can be a great way to capture the testimonials. Okay, so now we're going to pull up the testimonial script handout. Denise is awesome, and she said she would share.
Okay, which one are we doing? The testimonial script. We've got
yep.
Tips to conduct testimonial interviews. Is your client the right person?
It's the script.
I don't see I see questions to ask, and I see testimonial.
Okay. How many handouts do you have? 3 or 4?
4.
Oh, okay. Huh. Let me look and see if I called it something else.
Questions to ask for strong testimonials?
It's the testimonial request script. It's that one.
Okay, I got it.
Perfect. Yeah.
There we go.
Perfect. Awesome. So yeah, that is the script that you can use, that you can customize to ask for testimonials. How do I know? Because I use this script all the time. It's so much easier to ask for testimonials when it just becomes a part of your automatic process. And there's nothing like just having a script that you can pop in to an email or into a LinkedIn recommendation request, or even into your Google review page, just to make it easier for yourself to ask for testimonials. And that way it becomes just something you do, and it's not, you know, this big scary thing that you have to think of what to say every time. You can just ask with the script. So you'll notice in this handout that there are a few questions that you can ask. Now, handout number 2 has a whole list of questions. That would be the questions to ask to get strong testimonials. Denise is going to share that in just a second here.
Okay.
All right. So this is a list of questions that you can ask if you are conducting a testimonial interview, which I'll talk about in a couple of minutes, or you can swap out the questions in the script and pick one of these if you like one of these better. Asking questions is very important because chances are your client or customer is moved on to something else by the time you ask for a testimonial, because that's the way life goes. And they might appreciate having a reminder of all the great things that you did for them. So, you know, questions like, you know, what was your favorite part about working with me? Or, and I'm not phrasing these verbatim, but you know, what was the biggest result you got in working with me? Those questions will help jog their memory and will help them go, oh yeah, that chiropractor fixed my back right before my wedding. I need to tell him about that. You know, it'll jog their memory, and then they won't have to think of what to say each time when you ask them for a testimonial either. So it helps them feel a little more confident, and it helps you get the testimonial that will show the impact of what you did. Because, I mean, if you've ever gotten a testimonial that just says, that was awesome, like you can put an exclamation point or a smiley face or something in the chat. I'm sure that that's been the case for everybody, where somebody just said, that was great, thanks, but they didn't really put any of those details in there that you want for an impactful testimonial. So that's why it's really important to ask questions with the testimonials. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about interviewing, and it's less scary than it sounds. So first, when you are going to interview someone for a testimonial, you will want to, and the handout that can go up this time is,
I think I got it. Tips to conduct testimonial interviews.
we can do that one first. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. So when you're conducting an interview, it's important to remember just to make it as easy for your client as you can. And the reason that you could conduct an interview is just to get that more in-depth testimonial and or feedback from them. I will talk in a couple minutes about how to pick which customer you'll interview, because you won't have time and it won't be valuable to necessarily interview every customer. But for the ones that you do interview, you know, it's important to send a few times that might work for you, so that they have a couple times to pick from. You know, pick a quiet place, send them the questions ahead of time. Those are all really important things. Make sure you note though, like tell them you don't need to answer it in the email, just here are the questions so you can look them over before our interview. And also it's a good idea to record the interview, because as good of a note taker as a person might be, it's impossible to capture the specific words, the tonality, the way that someone said something, and that can really translate, especially if you are going to be taking little clips of the recording and putting it out as marketing material, or if you want to craft the testimonial in writing. It can be just great to have little pieces of their voice to really show how they talk and what they say, because each person is unique. Let's see. So yeah, those are some interview tips. And then the next handout would be
Is
the,
the client the right person to feature in a
yes,
testimonial?
there you
That's a
go.
big one.
That one. Yeah, yeah. So as I said, it won't be beneficial to you to interview every single person that you've ever worked with, but there will be those people who really stood out to you. And maybe it will be because you just had a really great, it was fun. It was fun to work together. Or maybe it will be because you really helped them get a huge result. You turned it around for them. You know, maybe they were always having sinus issues and headaches, and after they went to you for massage therapy, they don't have that problem anymore. And you know, maybe they talk about you to all of their friends and they refer you. I have a person in my network. I have hired her. She has not hired me yet, but she's like my top referrer. Like, she just sends people my way all the time. And you know, I'm sure you have people in your network like that too, who just love you and love what you do and think it's really great. And they send people your way and they just sing about you all over town. And that can be a really great sign that that person would be great to interview for a testimonial. Yeah, so if you're looking at that list of questions to ask yourself about your customers, and one of them makes you think, oh, that is totally Sarah, or oh, that sounds like Charlie, or I'm just making up names here. You know, write that person's name down and feel free to reach out to them and ask them for a testimonial if they haven't ever given you one, or if you can interview them. Because that person, chances are, they will be more than happy to share with the world all the great things that you do. Okay. So now I'm going to talk for a couple seconds. And Denise, did that handout get shared, or did I?
Yep, it did.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
I showed it. You bet.
Perfect. Okay. For anyone who's wondering, I'm actually totally blind, so anything that goes up on the screen, I just have to trust that it went up there. Okay. So quick word about video. Video is huge right now. People love watching video. Video is very shareable. People can engage with video because they can hear it and they can see it, which helps them remember it better. Actually, if you read something and hear something at the same time, it will stick more closely in your memory. So if you have the opportunity to get video testimonials, feel free to do it. And if you don't have video expertise, it can be as simple as just hopping on a Zoom call with someone and just saying, hey, can we, take a quick video of you giving your testimonial? That's it. Like, yeah, if you want, there are marketing agencies that specialize in video and can help you. Like, if you wanted to do a video in person, or if you just wanted some more editing, then there's even people who will edit video too. So if you take it yourself and you want video, you can edit it. Yeah, so video is great because it can be shared, and it doesn't have to be long either. Like, I would say 30 seconds maximum. Just ask your client to answer a couple of those questions, particularly the what was it like to work with me, or what was the greatest result you got through working with me. Those are really great ones. Or the what challenge did I help you overcome? That can be another great one. Make sure the questions are open-ended. Basically, that means make sure it can be answered with more than just a yes or a no, because that will get you more of the feedback that you want. For video, just make sure that your customer and yourself, that you guys both have a nice, like, professional looking background, like a white wall or something, and that the camera is backlit whenever possible, just to give for the best video. And Wearing solid colors is generally a good idea too. Those tend to look better on camera. All right. So now I'm going to talk a teeny bit, and there's not a handout for this. I really, now that I think about it, this would be a great place for a handout. But I'm going to talk a little bit about how to use testimonials, because that's always the next question I get. So testimonials can be used in a variety of ways. You can use them in your social media, so Facebook, LinkedIn, even on Twitter. You could put a shorter one up there. You can put your testimonial in your newsletters. I once got an email from somebody who had a testimonial in her email signature. I thought that was brilliant, just to get the email signature, get the testimonial right in there. You can also put it in a brochure. So if you have brochures about various services you provide, you can plop a few testimonials from people who've used those services. You can also discuss those testimonials in conversation. You can, and you know, I'm a huge proponent of, promote yourself by having other people promote you. So just sharing the stories that your clients and customers tell you. I'm sure you already do this when you talk with people in your conversations, when you're talking to prospective clients. Like maybe they'll say they have sleep apnea, and you help somebody who has sleep apnea in a specific way, and you can kind of tell them a little bit of the story. No need to name names or anything like that. Just, share a little bit about the result that you could provide and that you have provided to somebody. It will definitely boost your credibility there. So if you're using testimonials now in one of these ways, or a way that I did not mention, feel free to put it in the chat. I'm always collecting new ideas for this portion of my talk. So feel free to share if you're using testimonials, how you're doing it. And if you're not, that's okay. There is no time like the present to start. So that is totally fine.
Can I jump in real quick
Yeah.
here and ask you a question?
Of course.
So one of the, I just put in the chat box, put them in a slideshow on your website, because I just love seeing that. And it's really great, particularly if you can have multiple slideshows. So you have this one for sleep apnea, you have this one for, tongue tie, you have this one for, whatever. So it can actually be specific to the different products. But one thing I've been seeing that I really, really like is when you capture somebody's testimonial from social media, from their social media post, it just seems to have more validity to me than a written testimonial that I have just added to a page on my website. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you agree with it or not?
It could go both ways. I mean, on the one hand, the social media testimonial definitely shows that the person really, they really wrote it. It's how they wrote it. With testimonials on the website, it's easy to kind of clean it up a little bit. So yeah, I would say it's probably a both and, because sometimes you might want, like for example, in a brochure, you're probably not going to want to put a screenshot of someone's social media. You'll want to have that written testimonial. But if there are other places where you can share that screenshot, go for it. It's, if you've captured it and they've given you permission, which I'm assuming they have, because they're tagging you and posting about it. But it might be a good idea to check for the social media ones. Just because I know for testimonials, sometimes people will say, oh, can you do like my first name and my last initial, and then the type of business I have, or the type of where I live, or whatever it might be. Right. They might not want their whole name. So with the social media ones, it's always a great idea to check. But yeah, if that's a way that you can capture testimonials, go for it. Really, these pieces of content are really excellent, because there's just so many ways to use them and so many places to find them. And so many ways to get them out to your audience. So yeah, that's a great suggestion. All right. So now that we know everything there is to know about testimonials, I'm going to take a couple minutes to talk a little bit about customer case studies. And now you might be asking yourself, what are customer case studies? And you would not be alone in that. Many people have heard of them. They just might not know that it's called a customer case study. So customer case studies are they're success stories. So while a testimonial is 3 or 4 sentences, a customer case study is a minimum of 300 words, and it can go up to 2,000 words. And it's basically the next level up from testimonials. So if you have a ton of testimonials already and you are ready to showcase a story of how your customer was facing a challenge, how they found you, why they picked you, what it was like to work with you, and the results that they got through working with you, that might be a great time to consider a customer case study. Because you can include all of those things in one piece of content. Let's see. So case studies, they tell the story. So your potential customer gets to see where they are now, because they read the beginning of the story and they might think to themselves, oh, I have that challenge, or I'm facing that issue. And then the case study takes them through the journey of where they are, to what it's like to work with you, to where they could end up when they're done. And that can be particularly helpful if you have a program or a higher ticket item. People might need to see some social proof before they make the purchase or decide to commit, every day for 90 days or however much time it is. Yeah, so if you want to learn more about testimonials or case studies, or if you want to get in touch with me, I'm also offering a 10% discount to anyone who works with me. Just mention that you watched this presentation and I will apply that. And I know that many times when you first encounter the case studies or testimonials, you might not be ready right away. So that this 10% off, it doesn't expire. Just mention that you saw it here at the presentation and I will honor that for sure. Yeah, so I just invite you to get in touch with me. I am on LinkedIn for anyone who's watching this. And so yeah, linkedin.com/Katie-M-Corbett. And you can find me there. Or if you're here and you want to fill out the Google form, that works too. All right, so thank you.
Can we jump in with questions now?
Yeah, please. That was going to be my next.
Yeah,
my next piece.
Awesome. We're on the same wavelength. So let's talk about your case studies for a second, and
Sure.
and then we'll go back to testimonials. So one of the things about the case studies, for those who are watching this video, I've seen some of Katie's case studies, and think of it this way. So if you're a speaker who's wanting to get their message out there, you have a speaker sheet. It looks very professional. It's 1 to 2 pages. It really highlights why you should be a public speaker. The same goes for case studies. Looks very much the same thing in that it's probably 1 to 2 pages long. I know she can do longer ones. I know she can do short ones, but let's just say it's 1 to 2 pages. It looks very professionally done. It's not just a Word document that you're getting. That I guess you can do that, Katie, but I've seen the nice looking ones. But what it does is it's something you can put in on your website. It's something you can send out to prospective clients. It's something that you can put in your marketing materials that really can walk someone through the journey. Of course, you have to have your client's permission on it. So it's something that, yeah, could you do it on your own? Yeah. Are you going to take the time to do it? No, you're probably not. So working with someone like Katie, who is experienced in actually interviewing the individual and diving into the experience and writing it. And again, she is a wordsmith and is incredible at writing. That, just think about that as something for her that you want to talk to her about and see, how that would work in your business. And that 10% discount is a great deal. But Katie, let's go back to the testimonials. So there are some people who just cannot get over that fear of asking for a testimonial.
Mm.
And is that something that they can outsource to you to say, hey, I've got these clients, I think that they would be willing to do a testimonial. Would you contact them and get it for me? Or
Yes.
how would they do that?
Yes. I have it as a package deal. So
Mhm.
um, I interview 3 of your happy customers,
Mhm.
and typically you'll get more than 1 testimonial from each customer, just because I interview them for about 15 to 20 minutes. And that can yield a lot more content than just than they might write on their own, or yeah. So that is something I can do to help.
So do you think that a third party interviewing someone for a testimonial will garner more honest responses than someone who doesn't necessarily want to hurt our feelings?
Yes, I have I've experienced it where, I'll be talking to a customer, and they'll say like, hey, just could you let the person know that when we tried this one thing and it didn't quite work, the link was broken or whatever it might be. They will tell me that because I'm not affiliated with the company. I'm
Mhm.
a writer, and I always communicate that back to my clients,
Mhm.
because I want them to have the feedback so that they can improve.
Right. I want to open it up for questions. If anybody who is here with us live right now has a question, feel free to unmute yourself and jump in and ask it of Katie. Otherwise, I'll keep asking questions here. So have you seen any studies that show the value of a testimonial?
Um, let's see. Well, the 2 stats I cited in the beginning are
Right.
from marketing studies.
Mhm.
Um, there's a whole bunch. I mean, there are a lot more. Good to see you. There are a lot more statistics where those came from. So yes,
Okay.
I have seen plenty plenty of statistics. I mean, that statistic about how 88% of people trust a testimonial or review as much as they trust a recommendation from a friend. That's pretty high endorsement. I
Yeah,
mean,
it is.
it's like and it really is helpful because my husband and I, we were gonna go on a little dinner. We wanted to go on a little dinner train trip for my birthday, and we found one, and it looked really interesting. But then we read the reviews, and the reviews were not that. They did not speak that highly of people who had that. They didn't speak very highly of the experience.
Mhm.
And that's another quick thing I just want to highlight. If you get a negative testimonial or a negative review, um, leave it up there because it shows that you're honest, that you're willing to show that someone said that, and just respond like, oh, thank you for your review, thank you for your testimonial. But chances are you'll get way more positive ones than negative ones, since
Yeah.
you're taking care of your clients and you're
Yeah, you're really talking about either
working.
on a social media page or a
Yeah,
Yelp page.
yeah.
And I remember recently I wrote a review. I'm bad. I definitely will write one if I'm having terrible service, but I don't always write one if I have great service. So I need to get better at that. But I had getting something from a drive-through restaurant and
Mm.
already down the road, and the order is wrong, and I'm irritated, and I'd already been in line for a million years, and I wasn't going to turn around and go back. And I was irritated, and I wrote something because it was really, 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 really bad,
Mm.
the food that they had given us.
Mm.
And I have to admit, I had comfort in that the corporate office responded to it. I didn't like it, and I'm going to just add, do something about it. The corporate office in this particular case recommended that I try and find the restaurant's phone number myself and call them directly and see if I can resolve something with the manager. And
Mm,
sorry,
that's okay.
I'm
Yeah.
not doing that. But try to do
Yeah.
something about it. To respond in a way that you are saying, that you, if you're passing on the information, we will pass this on to the person. Here's what we can do for you. Do something to
Yeah.
make them happier.
And the thing is, when you do that, even someone who left a more negative review, they will think more highly of you, and they might even turn
Yeah,
around their opinion. They
yeah,
might even write another review that says, "Hey, I wrote in because I had a really bad experience, and they fixed it, and they did a great job, and it
yeah,
was wonderful. So
yeah,
disregard whatever I said in the last review."
yeah.
Um, yeah, that's responding and doing your best to make it right
Yeah.
is a great way to
It takes
address
the
those.
fire out of the situation.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Cool. Other questions, guys? Okay. I think we've got that all resolved. Katie, any last words that you want to add to this?
Well, I think I would just like to add that when you're going to ask people for testimonials, think about what it's like for you when you see a movie that you love or you go eat at a restaurant that's really good and you just cannot wait to tell your friends about that experience. That is what your happy customers feel,
Yeah.
the ones who really benefited from you, benefited from your services. And so just keep that in mind as you're asking them for a testimonial, because they are excited to share all the wonderful things that you did and all the wonderful ways that you impacted them. And that hopefully will make it a little easier to make the ask, because just think about how excited they are. That will help.
And you're helping them spread their joy and their pleasure of working with you. And that's one of the things to remember, is that you're giving them a way that they want to help you. You're giving them the way that will help you best. Yeah,
Absolutely.
awesome. With that being said, Katie, thank you very much for this. We will post when we post this on YouTube, it will have the link to the Google Docs. I recommend you fill out the form, get on Katie's calendar, see how she can help you in your business. Because this is one of those simple things that we can do to move our business forward and get people to say yes to us more often, is by posting those testimonials. And I'm making my commitment that it's something that I'm going to work on as well. So Katie, thank you very much for doing that. And thank you for everybody who watched this live today.